I am a Christ follower here for anger control and pride issues. My name is Digger. Hey, gang. So that is Pat Barrett, The Way. I chose that song because we're going to, for the next, I won't get to the number of lessons yet because I got a quiz for you. But for the next amount of time, we are going to spend a lot of time on truth. We use the word moral, we use the word honest, but really it's about truth, getting to the truth, chipping away all that decay, all those years of, if you will, the craziness, to get to the real truth, the truth about yourself and the truth about our Lord and Savior, etc., the truth about other people. So that's what this is about. So again, I thought that was an appropriate song for that. Again, Pat Barrett, The Way. So, quiz. How many lessons are we going to spend in Principle 4? I know somebody out there knows this number because I've done this I don't know how many times. Really close, Lisa. It's going to feel like that, by the way. 7. It's 25 lessons. 7 lessons we're going to spend on Principle 4. So needless to say, probably an important principle. Next one is Principle 7, if you will, time with God. It's only 4. But 7 lessons. So we're about, almost 2 months we're going to be spending in Principle 4. All right? So, again, some of these are rhetorical. There'll be one where I ask people to participate, but this is rhetorical. So prior to walking through those doors, many of us probably tried to live life by ourselves. Again, rhetorical, not looking for anybody to raise their hand. If you weren't trying to live by yourself, you might have been surrounded by a bunch of folks and stuff, but what did you maybe normally do when you were trying to keep that secret? Isolate? Everybody, that sounds familiar to anybody out there. Again, rhetorical. So here's the important part about Principle 4, and there's many of them, but one of the things is there's really 3 important relationships that you're going to experience why and celebrate recovery. Because it's real simple. If we go back to what I said before about living life by ourselves, who did that work for? Did anybody, again, rhetorical, did that work for anybody out there? Being by yourself, trying to do life on your own, being isolated. I know there's got to be somebody out there that it worked for. Of course, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work. So we are meant to walk through life in relationships. And in Celebrate Recovery, there's 3. Again, there's multiple relationships outside these walls, but we're going to talk about inside these 3 walls. 1, who do you think it's with? God, Jesus Christ. Number 1. Number 2, who else? Think about it now. Look to your left and right. Okay, we're going to get Jody, because Jody's been doing this a long time with me. He knows. He's jumping ahead to number 3. Number 2 is the person to your left and right, your brothers and sisters in Christ, the folks that you're going through this with every week, hopefully, right? And some of you are in step studies. So your brothers and sisters in Christ that are also in Celebrate Recovery. And then the 3rd relationship is sponsor. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, sponsors. So, openly examine and confess my faults to myself, to God, and someone I trust. Principle 4, happy are the pure at heart. That is Matthew 5:8. That's our beatitude. We made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. There's that word moral. Think truth. That's all it means is truth. You're going to do a truthful inventory. And again, over the next 7 lessons, and Tanya's going to get up here, and nobody does it better than Tanya, teaching you how to do your moral inventory sheets, which again is just a wonderful experience that I know everybody's looking for. And then the associated scripture with step 4 is, let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord, Lamentations 3:40. Now, why the sponsor lesson first? Again, I know there's a lot of folks that have done this before and heard this lesson many times now. Why sponsor first? Why not moral first. Used to be, by the way, but that's a whole other issue. Many, many years ago. But now it's the sponsor lesson. Why? Why is the sponsor lesson the first lesson of 7 in Principle 4? Thank you, Stephanie. Exactly. Before you get into Principle 4, Step 4, in your step study, you have got to have a sponsor. Again, think about those 3 relationships. Principle 3, hopefully you've established that solid relationship with Christ. You made the one-time decision. You're trying to work every day, committing to His will. All right? That's that relationship. You've got your relationships with your brothers and sisters in Christ. But you're going to need somebody here physically. I mean, praying and all that, God's in the Holy Spirit and all this. But you're going to need somebody physically to look at you once in a while. And I don't want to get way ahead of myself. But say, hey, dummy, stop what you're doing. You've tried that for... do I sound Southern? I don't want to sound Southern. Wait a second. Back to the left. No, seriously, I can't help it. Can't help it. Georgia, I don't know. All right. But in a serious note, I can't help it. I'm sorry. The world is wonderful. It's really important. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. I'll stop kidding around and get a little bit more serious here because it is. That sponsor is going to help you through this. I have all tried to do this by ourselves. We've tried different things. We're not going to do this again. I swear to God, if I please, again, you've all been there. You've begged, I'm not going to do this again, and then what do? Whatever it is, alcohol, drugs, sex, porn, food, whatever it is, you end up, we all do it. And that sponsor is one of his or hers, and I'll get to that too, primary responsibility is out of love to look you in the eye and go, yeah, that's not how this works. One more drink, one more porn, one more, it does not work. Face it, you're here for a reason, I'm here for a reason. We can't test the waters. If you're an alcoholic going into a bar, bad idea, right? Porn, bad idea to get on the internet by yourself. You get it, right? We've all been there. And by the way, again, when I stand up here, you all know I'm as guilty as the next person on this. That's why I can get up here and do this. I can relate to almost everything everybody in this hallway has done. At some point in my 62 years, I have probably done it, or at least tried it. It is what it is. We all tend to fall back on those coping mechanisms, habits that made us feel better. We thought they made us feel better, and we tend to revert back to them. If you're doing it for 40, 50 years, really hard to get out of that, right? And again, what have we always said? Work the principles, stay in the program, and you'll experience the miracles. It's not like that. You're not going to overcome something that you've been doing for years overnight. This takes work. And this is really the first principle and step that requires a lot of action. You're going to work your tail off in Principle 7, especially with those moral inventory sheets. And then when you sit down with your sponsor, and you've all heard my story of sitting with my sponsor, Dave, reading my burn letter, crying like a baby. I mean, it's just, this is hard. This is hard work, but it is so much growth in Principle 4. You are going to experience healing, especially when you confess your moral inventory, or if you will, read your moral inventory to your sponsor. The healing that you'll experience, remember James 5:16, we've heard this a bunch of times, confess your sins to each other so that you may be healed. It's an incredible principle. And again, 7 lessons of it. Okay, let's go ahead and get into tonight's lesson. First one, why do I need a sponsor and or accountability partner? We've already kind of talked a little bit about that, but let me get into some of the reasons here, why it's essential. First one, having a sponsor and or accountability partner is biblical. You've all heard the saying, As iron sharpens iron, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. We've heard the two ropes. I mean, there's many things. Anybody out there think that it's not better when you're, two people instead of one? Again, go back to what I was talking about. You're in a bar with somebody. You're, again, a lot harder to drink if you're with an accountability partner. You're smart. You get it. Bottom line is it's biblical in nature. God says we should be together. We are stronger together. You're going to fall on your own. I'm going to fall on my own. Don't isolate. Having a sponsor and accountability partner is a key part of our recovery program. That's an obvious statement. Oh, okay. I was going to say, if she had cats up there and stuff, I intentionally don't look behind me here because there's usually cats falling and all that. I'm going to move back to the left for a second. I tend to move to the right. There's going to be something up there. Oh, okay. Eventually. Wow, I'm so excited. Cats. It really is a key part of the program. Look, you don't want to do Principle 4 by yourself. You want someone to help you walk through Principle 4. You want somebody to walk through this process, this recovery, this growth with you from beginning to end if possible. We've had people in the past, and again, I get, we kid a lot, and I kid a lot. I know some of you are very broken over things. I get it. I was at one point when I walked through the door 8 years ago or 9 years ago, I was broken. So I understand that. And it's really, really important to have somebody help you walk through that. My first sponsor was younger than my youngest child, Billy Brown. And I always tell this story. Billy was, when I first came to this church in 2006, he was a teenager. Again, he was hanging around with my son Guy, who is probably 3-4 years younger than him. Billy was my sponsor. I needed to be humbled badly. I mean, I was an arrogant SOB. I mean, I really was. I didn't think anything stunk on me whatsoever. And you could put the 4-letter word in there that I would normally use. It's just as how it was. I was an arrogant person that needed a sponsor. I would not have made it to where I think I am today, which is still a broken, screwed up individual. As Dave reminded us on Easter Sunday, I loved it, by the way. The Easter crowd, hey, you're all screwed up. I loved it. I'm in the back saying, hey, if you RSVP, great. If you didn't RSVP, you screwed up. So I was saying that to people. We had a great crowd on Sunday. We really did. It was awesome. It was a great service too, Dave. Friday was exceptional, by the way. It was exceptional. If you didn't see Friday service, it's on the. I'm off on a tangent, Jody. Get me back on. But Friday service. If you didn't see Friday's Good Friday service, 15 minutes, you need to watch it. Professionally done. Very, very powerful. All right, back to this. You're going to need a sponsor. Key part of the program. If it wasn't for Billy Brown, I don't think I really would have been here. So that's important. I'm going to get to that. It's really important on who you pick to be your sponsor. All right, last one. Best guard against relapse is a sponsor. And I go back to what I said before. Accountability partners, maybe. They may say to you, hey, that's not a really good idea. You're going down a path here where you're going to relapse. But a sponsor speaking truth and love to you, and maybe a swift kick in the rear end, it depends what you need. I know my sponsees, and I know what they need to make sure if they're deviating, I can help them, my job, help them to get back on track. So that's very, very important to have a sponsor so you don't relapse. So you folks that have been doing this a long time, we all keep walking through the door. We all know when it's happening. When you stop calling your sponsor, when you stop showing up to meetings, you get it. Some of you have been here a while, you know what I'm talking about. You got to continue to reach out to your sponsor and your accountability partners so you can remain accountable and you don't relapse. I mean, you walk through the door to heal, to go through recovery, to grow. Why would we want to relapse? So again, one of the primary roles of a sponsor is to help you not relapse. Okay. All right. What are the qualities of a sponsor? A lot of them. I'm not going to go through the whole long list, but some of them that you should be looking for. Does the person walk the walk? Does the person show up on Tuesday nights for Celebrate Recovery? Is the person, gone through or wearing this? Is the person at church? Again, is the person walking the walk? It's really easy to get up here and say things. It's much harder to do those things, right? So again, you want to be looking for people that have the right qualities and are walking that walk. You want somebody that's, as Dave says, a little bit screwed up. In other words, I don't got it all fixed. I'm not perfect. I understand I got problems, and I'm here on Tuesdays, and I'm working on it still. So you want to make sure somebody is still progressing. Remember, progress, not perfection, that they're working on themselves, and it's not like, and again, anybody that's been here a while, I think I don't need this. I did this in 2017. I think I probably don't need Celebrate Recovery. So I went away for about 9 months, and boy, was I wrong. When somebody says that, you might want to say, really? Are you sure? Are you sure? How has that worked before when you were outside those doors by yourself? All right? So, real good indicator. I don't really need this anymore. Okay, sure. Does he desire or does she desire to help others on the road to recovery? Probably don't want somebody that doesn't want to help you. Really. I mean, it sounds kind of silly. That's what the book says, but it sounds kind of silly, but it's true. Look, there's people out there wearing these, and I'm going to have them stand here in a little bit. They may not, just because we've gone through the training, just because we've gone through a 12-step, just because we show up on Tuesday nights, we may not be ready to help somebody else, right? And I appreciate it. I always ask some of you all to volunteer, and I appreciate it really when somebody says to me, I'm not in a good place tonight. It is okay if you're not ready to be a sponsor. It really is. If you're working on yourself, thumbs up. Now, if you don't want to sponsor somebody and you're a leader, just because that might be different. But if you're still working on yourself, and we're all working on ourselves, but I'm talking about some serious stuff. Again, many of us have been sponsors out there a long time. I've said no to people, and there's reasons for that. Probably wasn't in the right place, right mindset at that time to be able to help other people. I was working on some big stuff in my life. All right. I'm not going to show that. Good listener, that's a good one. There's a long list here, and I can give, and if you want a long list of them and stuff, I'll be happy to give them to you. But good listener is an important one, especially for the guys out there, and I'm generalizing, I know, but I like to fix things. You tell me something, I'm thinking you want me to do something. So I always remind my bride, if you don't want me to do something, you need to tell me, because I'm going to do something. It's just... It is. I'm sorry. I won't look over that way. It's funny what you see up here, especially with the folks that are out there and maybe are married and stuff. It's always interesting. But on a serious note, look, sometimes somebody just needs you to listen. And they don't need you to fix anything. They just want you to listen and then hear them. Be empathic. Read back to them. Okay, this is what I heard you say. I heard you say that you're really in a bad place right now, and this is what's going on. Is that what I just heard? Anybody that's done that with somebody, and you've been in that receive mode, when you've said that to somebody, and somebody comes back to you and says, this is what I'm hearing you say, that is extremely powerful, because usually it's like, they're really listening? Are they getting it? Do they understand what I'm saying? So being a good listener, an active listener, is really important. Okay, on to the next one. I want to make sure I'm done on time. What is the role of a sponsor? That's a good one. So, We all come here on Tuesday nights. I know many of you out there, and many I don't know. You're probably not want to just walk in one day and go, hey, I have this really personal matter going on in my life, and I want to share that with you right now. Maybe you don't. You get my point. What is one of the roles of a sponsor? Look, and again, I've done this with Dave and I did this with Billy. You're going to share intimate details, secrets in your life that you may not have shared with anyone. And I'm talking about your spouse, with anyone. Now, can't hide it from God. He's got it all. But this is the one person that if there's something that you haven't told anybody before, I encourage you to find the courage to tell that sponsor that most intimate detail. You've all heard this. It's very cliche, but it's really truth. You're as sick as your secrets, right? It's just how this works. If you've got something that's weighing on you because you've never told a living soul, your sponsor is an individual that you can tell. I promise you. Like I said, I've sponsored a lot of people, and again, a lot of the people I've known. And they've told me things, I was like, again, but it was like, okay, wow. That's really a tremendous burden to be carrying. You've never told anybody? Never, digger. Wow. Thank you first for trusting me with that. You know this is a sacred bond, and I'm not going to share that with anybody. That's got to feel really good telling somebody. Because having that in your rucksack, if you will, carrying that for so many years had to be just incredible. And that is an example of somebody I had. He had been carrying it since 1981. And this was probably about 3 years ago. That's a long time to be carrying something, folks. Long, long time. All right. We already talked about the relapse. I won't mention that again. Like I said, there's a long list of these here. I want to mention this one, though. Again, I've kind of hinted at it a bunch, but one of the things in our training, and I don't know, I think one of the things about sponsors and people that go through the training and are in this program a while is we can tend to be objective, if you will. So the people I sponsor, I am brutally honest. That might be the right word. I maybe brutal. Brutal is a good adjective there. I don't know how else to be. I want to hear the truth. Who doesn't want to hear the truth? I want to hear the truth. Now, there's a way you can say that. I've probably on occasion said it the wrong way, but I want to hear the truth. I want Dave to tell me the truth. When I'm sitting there with him, I don't want him blowing smoke. I want him to tell me the truth. I want to know what I'm not seeing. What are my blind spots? Who out there rhetorically doesn't have any blind spots? Even if you've been here 7, 8, 9 years, 10 years, we all still have blind spots. That's why we're here every year. We're continuing to peel the onion back, working on ourselves. We get into a 12-step, and we all of a sudden realize we're working on this, this, and this, and then something else comes up. It was a blind spot. We didn't know that. We've all heard people get up here when it's a chip ceremony or a testimony or whatever it might be, say that. We all have them. So you need to pick somebody that's going to be honest with you. And for you sponsors out there, and you went through the training, look, I need you to be brutally, and again, brutally is, maybe not the right word, but I'm going to keep using it. Brutally honest with your sponsees. That's what they need. That's your job. If you're not going to sit and look at somebody and go, yeah, that's not going to work. Yeah, that's not going to work. You go into that bar, No, that's not going to work. You not showing up to celebrate recovery? Yeah, no, that's not going to work. You, again, when your wife goes out work, you get it. You have to say those things. That's our job as sponsors. You must be brutally honest. All right, last one. A sponsor can resign or be fired. Interesting. I can fire my sponsor. I'm not going to fire Dave. He's the pastor. That would be suicide. I'm not doing it. No. Dave, my sponsor is the pastor of the church. Does it get any better than that, right? I don't think so. But on a serious note, look, sometimes we just don't get along with people, whatever the reason. I'm in a work situation right now. This young man and I'll say he's a young man. He's probably in his 40s. We just don't see eye to eye. I mean, we're moving out in the same. We've got the same destiny that we've got to get to. We've got a project that we've got to fulfill by June 6th. But for some reason, we are just oil and water, man. It is what it is. I've tried. I've tried being nice. I've tried yelling. I've tried everything in between those. You can imagine I probably dropped a few, F-bombs at him and stuff. It wasn't pretty. But sometimes, again, I'm willing to try anything. It just didn't work. We just don't get along. So the smart thing to do would be one of us resigns, steps away, or somebody above us go, yeah, that's not really working. You yelling at him on the phone, Digger, that's probably not a good idea. Real situation. It is what it is. And you know what? His boss was right. Me yelling at him in front of his boss on the phone, probably not a good idea. It's okay. We move on. I find somebody else. You get the point. Look, when you select your sponsor, and oh, by the way, male with male, women with women. There's obvious reasons for that. But just two that come to mind. One, and I'm going to point at you, Stephanie, because I love you dearly. There's no way I'm going to understand what's going on up there. There's no way you're ever going to understand what's going on up here. I mean, it's true. It's true. I mean, let's face it. If anybody has figured out the opposite sex after this meeting, let me know. But on a serious note, I mean, we think differently. We were raised different, social. You get my point. I'm being a little joking here because Stephanie's a good sport. But seriously, I don't understand what it's like to be a woman. I don't know how you think. Like I said, I want to fix. You just want me to listen. I need you to tell me, hey, dummy, just listen. I need the obvious. You all, the ladies, are a lot more intuitive and understand. He's just yelling and screaming. It's all good. I don't need to do anything. He's just going to yell and scream and it'll be okay. You, on the other hand, all right, what can I do? You get it. All right? And the other reason is obvious. Look, your relationship with your sponsor is an intimate relationship. I'm obviously not talking about physically, but it's an intimate relationship. You're going to share secrets with that person. You don't need any problems between a man and a woman. You get it, right? You know what could happen there. So those are two really important reasons. So men with men, women with women. Now, I want the sponsors. So one of the things in here is, so how do I pick a sponsor? How do I find one? It's the next letter. I am going by the sheet here, by the way. Sometimes seems like I'm not, but I really am. How do I find a sponsor? I want the sponsors to stand up, please. Don't be shy. If you're a sponsor, stand up. All right. What's that? Is it? Oh, jeez. She's killing me, man. Thank God it's not a cap. That's the Muppets, right? I got to remember that. The Muppets? Yep. All right. So you can sit back down. Thank you. I told you there was going to be a test tonight. If you're a sponsor, stand. Yes? No? Yeah. All right. For the folks that are not sponsors, the folks that are in a step study for the first time, and I know there's some men and women in here, look for these. When you're in a share group, listen to the person with one of these, and if you relate to something they're saying, probably be a good idea to approach that person and ask them, or talk, maybe get a cup of coffee, whatever it might be. But what you want to do is you want to find the right sponsor. And one, they'll have this on a Tuesday night. Two, I think the groups still hand out lists of the sponsors. And then if you're here in a share group at the end of this tonight, listen to the people. I mean, you're listening to everybody. You're not trying to fix and sharing, but a double talk. But what you're going to do is listen to this person. And if you can relate to that person, that might be a good person you maybe grab after or grab next time or call or whatever you need to do and ask that person to meet, or is that person willing to be your sponsor if you're already there? I mean, I know a lot of us know each other already, but you're going to need a sponsor. If you don't have a sponsor by Principle 4, the person that's running your share group or the co-leaders are going to start saying, hey, you need to find one. Again, I know some of you folks out there are a little bit more, a little bit more subdued maybe, and just grab somebody. Ask them. I don't mind being a sponsor. And I'll tell you, yeah, this is not going to work, or yeah, that's going to work. I've said no before. I've said yes to many people too. Do not be offended if someone says no. Go back to what I said earlier. It's not you. Again, it's not always about me, right? It's not you. It could be that individual has many, many things going on in their life. Maybe they're working on something that's very serious. Maybe they're on the verge of a relapse and they're working with their sponsor. Could be a myriad of things. But my point is, don't be offended if somebody says to you, yeah, this is not the right time. What I'll always do is hey, maybe you ought to, I'm familiar with your issue. Maybe ask this individual and see. And at the end of the day, if we can't find you a sponsor, again, don't panic. It's okay. Come to Tanya if you're a female. If you're a guy, come to me, and we'll figure it out with you. Sometimes we do accountability partners if we can't find a sponsor, but we haven't had that problem in a really long time. We've got a lot of folks out there that have been trained to be sponsors, and many are willing to do it. So, but again, if you get into that point, don't get jittery or panic. It's okay. Male, come see me. Female, go see Tanya. Okay. All right. Again, there's a long list of other things in here. I'd be happy to share them with you, but I want to summarize this real quickly and get off, and so we can get into share groups. Principle 4, 7 lessons. Next closest, Principle 7, 4 lessons. We're going to spend a lot of time. I mean, we're going to be in June when this is done. I mean, we're going to be in June. I mean, think about that. That's where we're headed here over the next 7 weeks, or 7 lessons, 14 weeks, if you will, because of the every other week with a testimony. Very, very important principle, very, very important step. You are going to conduct that search, moral inventory, that fearless and searching moral inventory. It's a little scary the first time you do it. You know what? You got a sponsor, and they're there to help you. It's just that simple. Tanya's going to do, as she always does, an exceptional job walking you through the moral inventory sheets. If you're concerned about that, she's got a great lesson for that to walk you through it, the 5 columns, etc. But you'll have a sponsor, and that sponsor will help you through it. And again, it's we and many others that are not wearing these have done this. You're not the first person to go through a Principle 4, a Step 4. And you've got a sponsor that's more than willing to help you get through this principle and step on to the next principle, one principle at a time. So when we finally get to Principle 8 at the end of the year, you've experienced that miracle that we all have experienced before. So,